We see Roku's role in evolving from broad reach to patient action in CTV and streaming television through a couple of different areas. First and foremost, we see streaming as becoming the major way that most people are watching television today. In fact, Nielsen just talked about how time spent streaming is eclipsed that of linear television. And within Roku, where Roku sits within the streaming ecosystem, we see a lion's share of that streaming time happening on our devices. So from there, we take broad scale reach and we want to create action from that reach. We see that happening through a couple of key areas. First of which is interactive ads and engaging our consumer on our platform, having a consumer-centric approach to targeting and measurement, and then lastly, of course, having better measurement tools to showcase outcomes. All of that combined is going to take that mass reach and that scale of audience and create action out of those impressions.
So what strategies work best for connecting TV storytelling with digital touchpoints, especially ones that guide patients to the next step?
Sure. We see engagement ads, interactive ads, and scale of consumer-centric targeting and reach are the two things that really come together in a big, big way. As I mentioned, Roku is America's #1 streaming platform. We see an outsized share of time spent in terms of streaming and viewing. And so that scale is replacing linear scale. What we're seeing in the linear ecosystem is a continued cord cutting and the shrinking of that total available audience that was once a big piece of how linear was a great reach vehicle for advertising. We're seeing that reach shift now to streaming, and really what we're finding on Roku is that we're replacing linear reach with Roku reach. From there, we also have a very big key differentiator, which is our home screen. And again, Roku is one of the major ways that most Americans are streaming television. Whether they're watching the NFL or they're going to watch Netflix, they start on our home screen. Our home screen is super valuable and a massive differentiator in this ecosystem. Big reason is that 125 million people use that screen every single day, that Super Bowl reach every single day, to start their TV experience. And so on that home screen is something we call our marquee ad, which is a home screen ad. It can be static, it can be video. It's a clickable unit that starts a consumer's journey into an ad experience. And that ad experience can be seeing your 60 or long form video ad rolling. It has a QR code, it can be an interactive element, it can be custom branded content that we develop together. But all of that is the start of a engagement opportunity. It's a clickable ad unit. And so from there, we glean a lot of information about a consumer. Consumer learns more about the drug brand, about the patient's journey, about caregivers. Doctors learn from this as well. And it's a big opportunity that combines both scale and reach with then engagement opportunities.
And so how do you balance personalization with healthcare messaging that's so sensitive?
Sure. It's obviously a really important topic and something we're very focused on. The big promise around streaming television is that we provide a more relevant ad experience for consumers. And that's why we've seen that consumers really don't mind the streaming ad environment and the ad experience that streaming can put together. A big piece of that is really understanding that audience and making sure that we're curating and crafting the right ad experiences for the consumer based on their taste, based on what they've responded to in the past. And so from there, we really develop something that's more relevant to what a consumer wants. We also do a lot of work and think a lot with pharma brands about making sure that we're putting the patient first and putting the patient inside of ad units and ad creative, and I think that's important for patients to see themselves in pharma advertising.
What role does audience targeting play in ensuring healthcare messages land with relevance and lead to action?
We often think about targeting as an advertiser develops a target consumer set and then sends the ad directly to, and it becomes to that consumer set. It becomes sort of a one-way street. And something we've been working with a lot of brands and think about a lot at Roku is how do we create that? How do we create more of a virtuous cycle around ad targeting? And so, as I mentioned before, our home screen is a really powerful piece of our arsenal and our puzzle. Imagine putting together and leveraging that ad unit and showcasing an ad on our home screen, it opens up to a new audience, a new consumer group. Maybe that consumer clicks on the ad, and now you've jumped from a static ad to now an engagement opportunity, which is creating more friction, more engagement with a consumer, and starting to pull them further down the decision funnel. And then we move into a video space, and so maybe they're clicking on an engagement ad that we're running in a video space, and we're getting more feedback from that consumer that there's more interest in that drug type or drug brand. Maybe they're not clicking on that. Now you've shown this ad twice to the same consumer. So let's suppress them moving forward so that we can move on from that consumer and make sure that we're expanding your reach and not just driving frequency against someone that may or may not care about your specific brand. Either way, we see the advertiser winning there because either we're pushing them further down the funnel or we're saving them money by driving to more reach in the future versus frequency on a consumer that may not be the right person.
And looking ahead, what innovation or trend are you keeping an eye on?
We see the explosion of streaming sports, right? This NFL season marks the first season that all NFL games can be streamed on a streaming app, which is a first. We know there's a conundrum around how consumers find what they want to stream in general, but certainly in sports. The stat I just read was that it's going to require, a consumer is going to require 10 different apps to stream all of the NFL. It's going to cost us over $930 this season if we want to do it that way. And so as that continues to evolve, and we're going to see streaming of sports continue to grow, and we know that Amazon Prime is obviously doing Thursday Night Football, we know that Netflix is doing streaming-only games. There's a big opportunity for us to capture better attention of consumers and to better help leagues in how they're reaching their consumer set and make sure that consumers can find their favorite games where they want them. Part of what we're doing is building our sports zones, and we work very closely with the NFL on the NFL zone. But it'll be very intriguing to see how sports leagues react to this new paradigm of consumer streaming more than they watch on a linear feed.